Welcome back to the channel. This is Holden from Classroom Camp, and in this video, I'm going to answer the question, should I become a teacher? Now, depending on the person you talk to, you're probably going to hear a different answer. Some people will say yes, some people will say no, some people might say, I don't know. But here, we're just going to be talking about my opinions, my ideas based on my experiences and what I have gone through during my time as a teacher. So don't expect this to be the end-all be-all answer or anything. This is just me. And before we get started, if you like this video, don't forget to like the video. And I would love to have you here on the channel as part of the Classroom Camp community. So consider subscribing. Obviously you don't have to, but feel free to. So let's talk about it. Should you become a teacher? Well, first I will say this, that if teaching is your passion and you feel that you are called to be a teacher, it's something that you have always wanted to do, then by all means, yes, become a teacher. I don't want to be the person to tell you, no, you shouldn't do the thing that you have always wanted to do, because life is short, you only get one, and you need to have that experience. If at least just to say that you have tried it, you've done it, and you didn't like it, or that you enjoyed it and it's everything you thought it was going to be. So if you want to be a teacher and your mind is set on that, then go for it. Go for it. And hopefully you'll have a good experience. However, there are some people who have different circumstances. They don't necessarily feel called to be a teacher and they're curious as to whether it is right for them. So I want to start off by saying this, that in the district that I currently serve in, the starting salary is around $48,000. And as teachers, most of the time you get an incremental salary boost each year that you teach. So, you go up maybe $500 or $1,000 each year. But most teachers that I know probably aren't making more than $60,000. It really just depends on who you are. And not everyone just tells me what their salary is. But some teachers, they do make significantly more because they might teach during summer school. But that's neither here nor there. I really want to just focus on the fact that $48,000 is what is earned starting in my district. And I have seen the salary be much less in other areas, as low as $35,000. And, $40,000, $45,000, it really just kind of depends on where you live. And for context, I live in Louisiana currently. So that's that. And I am a certified teacher. That's what a certified teacher would make, is $48,000. So consider that. And if you were to work at Walmart or Costco or some other place where mobility is a thing and you can move up the ranks, you can make as much as a teacher makes. As a matter of fact, you could get your CDL, become a truck driver, and make significantly more than most teachers. So there's that. The fact that you can make a lot of money, or at least an equivalent to teaching, outside of, just doing something else, is something to consider. So if teaching is not your passion, if you're not set on that, and you're okay with some other positions and working your way up, you might have a better experience elsewhere. Because here's the thing. Teaching requires a certain amount of education. You must have, to be certified in most cases, now there are exceptions here, but in most cases you need a bachelor's degree and you need to have gone through a teacher preparation program. And when I went and got my bachelor's degree, I think the total cost was at least $40,000, if not more, to get a bachelor's degree. That's a lot of money. And if you're going in to get your bachelor's already intending to become a teacher, your teacher preparation program might be built into that bachelor's program. So you kind of like come off saving a little bit of money. Because the alternative is that you get an alternative certification. For example, you graduate in something like business or psychology, and you decide that you want to switch professions and eventually become a teacher. You still have to go through that teacher preparation program, and you might have to have additional schooling. If you don't find a district that is willing to pay schooling for you. So consider that to become a teacher, you must have a degree and you have to pay for that education, which can, if you don't have a bachelor's degree, could be $40,000. And if you already do have a bachelor's degree, you might need to pay for additional schooling to eventually get your teaching certification. Whereas you could graduate college and begin working at Walmart or some other company and work your way up. You could even start your own business and make a ton of money. Who knows? The sky's the limit. That's why a lot of teachers, the statistics, and I don't have the statistics on hand right now, but the majority of teachers would not recommend that new people becoming teachers. New prospective job career seekers become a teacher. I think it's around at least 70% of teachers would not recommend that you become a teacher. There's a lot going on in the field of education outside of just the salary factor and reasons why they would say don't get into it. But I'm not going to cover all that here in this video. That's the main thing I want you to think about, is whether or not you're willing to put that money down if you have not gone through college and go through additional schooling in order to earn your certification. For me personally, I had always wanted to work with children. I started out, my first job, I graduated in psychology. My first job was at a children's home. And I thought I was going to be a child psychologist or deal with developmental psychology in some way. And I worked as a child care specialist. Then I went into substitute teaching. Then I tutored online, and here I am now teaching. So it's been a long journey for me, but I think that it wasn't always necessarily that I wanted to be a teacher, even though I did teach in many ways. I taught a youth group and things like that, and I always enjoyed teaching. In college, I helped with high school debate and things like that. So the teaching has always been there, but I mostly wanted to work with children. And look, I enjoy teaching. But, there are lots of things as well about teaching that I enjoy. I enjoy the frequent breaks. We get Thanksgiving and holiday breaks and spring break where we're out of school. I enjoy the day schedule because on most days right now I'm home by 4:30, which is great. It's not 5 or 6, late. I also have summers off. I can choose if I don't want to work during the summer, and that's 2 months just to do my own thing and travel or whatever else. So there are a lot of perks that come along with teaching, but at the same time it does come at a cost, and that cost is money, I think. Because like I said, there are teachers who work additional hours. They might work during summers for summer school and make several $1,000s doing that to supplement their salary. So that is what I would like for you to think about mainly, is the cost associated with becoming a teacher relative to the fact that you could do something outside of the teaching profession and make way more money and probably have much better financial stability. And if money is your thing, then I don't think you can get rich becoming a teacher. And that's what everybody tells me, is don't become a teacher. You won't get rich. You'll enjoy the job, but you won't get rich. And that is very true. So before you become a teacher, that's what I would like you to think about. But anyways, if you have any questions, leave those questions down in the comments. And if you have any comments, Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? What is your experience? What perspective do you have? Leave that down in the comments. Also, remember, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.